Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. I am your host, Shades, and as you can see here on the charts that I'm about to pull over to the left-hand side here, from my point of view at least, we did stair step. We did touch almost a penny, not quite, but we did stair step, followed by stair stepping to the downside, which I wasn't expecting. I was wrong. I thought we were going to stair step followed by an elevator straight down, because that usually is the pattern you see in the OTC. Is we stair step, and then boom, a big red candle down. I think I used Eyeless as an example back when they had their shareholder meeting right here. Stair stepping, oh my god, everyone's getting excited, we're gonna go to the moon, and then boom. Wait, no, that's not it. That's the wrong one. Is that the wrong one? It's been such a long time, I don't even remember. We're six. No, that should be it. Yeah, that should be it. So, stair stepper to the downside. I thought we were gonna, at least touch one penny, maybe even jump over it a little bit before it sold off back to 006s. But instead, we're getting the classic stair stepper, which tells me that people just don't have patience. They're selling now because they're like, oh well, where's the Q&A? Where is it? I also want to know, when is it coming out? Where is it? We don't know, so there's people just getting impatient and selling it off. And look, I know the OTC like the back of my hand. We're not in 2021. People are going to tell you every time this thing gets any kind of excitement. People are going to tell you, this is it. This is the big one. This is the big move. We're going to go to the moon. But this is the reality right here. This is the reality. This is the reality here. This was with pumpers, by the way. Without pumpers, don't expect much movement other than maybe a nice 30-40%. Because it has a history of doing 30 to 40% back before it hit CE. The share structure is pretty much the same, if I recall. I don't think much has changed in terms of the share structure. It does not have a terrible share structure like that of AITX. But the share structure stayed the same. So unless we have another 2021, don't expect it to go to 6.5 cents. The most it's gone to is 2.5 before coming down. I'm talking about way back when. What, 2 years ago, 2022? So I will be looking to add, let me see, low 007s, high 006s is what I'll be looking to add. I'll add some more if it does come down 005s again. Like, I'll be looking to add here between 005s and 007s. That is my target personally. I'll be looking at another 10K, and we'll just rinse and repeat this. If you really think about it, the only time this thing dumped was the CE designation and the Ukraine being invaded, but the dip got bought up real quick. So, and if you recall, back then, let me see if I can pull up Webull. Do I have Webull on here? I keep forgetting if I have Webull, because they chose the full data for Webull. If it even, there we go. So, yep. So if we go back in time, you can see very clearly after that huge, 2021, woohoo, everyone to the moon, everything goes 10,000%. It held 1 penny very well. It held it for almost a year. If it hadn't been for that designation, we would have been fine. Because they communicate consistently. And that's a big deal for it to stay above 1 penny back then. So now I'm pretty sure we're going to stay above 005. Seems like people love it at that number. With that out of the way, let's just look at the people. You remember when people were saying, guys, if you're not buying, oh, you're going to miss out. You don't know what's coming. All those people with big followings saying the same thing over and over again. Every time, oh, this is it, guys. Big, move to the moon. We're moving to the moon, here we go. And you can see January is coming, then February, then March. You know nothing about what's going on with Cybl other than the stupid lawsuits you seem to read. When is the big investors meeting going to air? I wonder if someone answered here. I am not looking forward to the Q&A. Most likely it will pump and dump. It's already pumping. It already pumped and it's already dumping. Slow fall. It could fall more than 10% today easily if people just decide, you know what, I'm too impatient. I'm just gonna take my profit and get out of here and go somewhere. I'm just gonna take my money somewhere else. Daily pumps, no trusting leadership. This is the same guy. This guy goes back and forth like my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy. Either one day he's like, oh my god, this is it. The next day, the CEO is, get the video released. You're losing steam. So this guy desperately wants a pump. Why does he desperately want a pump? And then insults the CEO if things don't go his way. Sounds like someone that's holding a big bag somewhere up high, is what I imagine. I've seen this name before. So, like, you see, now that we're stepping down, now everyone's like, oh no, what's going on? Please do something, CEO, make it go up. I don't understand that. You would think he would have learned already, like, how the OTC works. I wonder if he'll ever... this is funny. Do you guys think this guy will ever learn? Do you think a year from now we're going to come back and we're going to see this guy going, you know what? Now I know how the OTC trades. I'm going to buy the bottom. Going to buy it when no one wants it. And then when it pumps, I take my 30-40% and rinse and repeat. Do you think... I don't think so. I don't think he's going to learn. I'd be shocked if he did. Or she. I shouldn't assume he. It might be a she. You never know. Might be, Anyways. Yeah, I think that's it, right? I think that's it. Yeah, there's some bashers endlessly bashing Cybl. And then if I go to... Well, there's my video from way back then. That's not relevant now. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for looking at how the people feel. You always got to look at how the people feel. Always go to Twitter, type in... If you didn't know this, it's very important to go to Twitter, type in the ticker name, and just look at what the overall sentiment is on Twitter. Because you've seen now, I've shown you both sides multiple times now. People get all excited. Oh my god, this is it. You should buy in. And then you get the opposite if things don't, go to the moon. Oh, I don't understand. This is the best stock ever. It's AI, drones, #1. Like, this is worth dollars. I don't understand why it keeps coming down. It shouldn't go down. Please release something so that it pumps. Like, huh? Always look at the people. How are they feeling? If people are feeling hype and pumping it on Twitter, it's not time to buy. It's time to sit back and wait for the negativity to come in. And then when you start seeing the negative post, that's when you look at the chart and go, let's see, why is what's with the negativity? Oh, it's starting to stair step to the downside. I see. So it's coming down nice and cheap, you're saying, huh? You're going to give it to me cheap? Okay. That's when you get excited. That's when you go, yes, thank you so much for your negativity. I see that the share price is going down. People are getting upset. Guess what? If this thing drops more than 10% today, I might just buy some shares. Because it could. If buyers don't step in, it's just going to... Don't be surprised if it just goes... Because remember, this can fall pretty quick. Especially if it breaks below here 8. Because 8 is where it's holding right now. You could call it, I guess, a bull flag. We'll see. But if buyers don't step in... It's going to drop so quick. It's going to drop like 20%, and people are going to be... You think they're upset right now with the stock only being down 6.9% and starting to, slowly kind of fall, into support, which would usually indicate a breakdown eventually. Think about that for a second. It's only gone down like 6%, and they're already crying. I can't imagine what's going to happen when it drops 20, because it can drop fast. This is why, the OTC, you have to know what you're doing. You cannot be buying up here and then it comes down and you're like, oh no, like it's not very forgiving. You want to buy as close to the bottom as possible. Take the profit if it goes up 30% plus. Be content with that. Rinse and repeat. I mean, I know some people are going to complain, but 30% plus is not a lot. Actually, if you have patience and discipline, let's say you start with $1,000. And let's do the math here real quick. Times 30%, which is obviously going to be 1,300. I think I screwed that up. But yeah, you guys know that's 1,300. And then let's look at how many runs this stock had. This is going to be very fun. You guys are going to get to see how much money you can make just being content with 30%. Just 30%. You don't care about anything else. Just 30%. I'm happy. Let's look back at the past here at that trading range between 1 penny and and 1.4. So here it had a run. So you would have missed out on the 150%, 250%, whatever. You would have missed out on all this, but you still took your 30%, right? And then here you took another 30%. Here you took another 30%. So that's 3 already. Sheesh, that many? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, whoa. 4. Here another. That's 25%. Here's like what? 10%. So 4 30% wins. So that's 1,300. So yeah, we can actually make this easier. Let's just assume you take your 30%. You just turn 1,000 into 1,300. You put that same 1,000 back. You keep the 300. You put the same 1,000 back. You take another 30% 3 more times. That's times 3. Oops, that's supposed to be times 3, which I don't even know why I'm doing the math. I'm just showing you. It's obviously 900, but let me just, okay, 900 plus the original, 300 that we made. We need to include that. That's $1,200. Again, this is assuming you don't lump sum, every time you win, you lump sum the gains too. This is assuming you take the 300 and just put it off to the side. So 1,200 and then what? 25% here. So that's another 250. And then let's say 10%. So that's 100. So there you go. This is based off of back when it bottomed out at 1 penny. So $1,550. And you started with 1,000. What is that? 1.5x. 1.5x. That is your return right there. 1.5x. That doesn't make sense. I think. Am I screwing that up? That doesn't sound right. You started. Yeah. So you would have 2,550, and you started with 1,000. That's assuming again that you only go in with 1,000. You're content with 30%, and you don't put in the gains. You make your 300. You leave it out off to the side. You don't put it back in. If you put it back in, you can make actually more. So, yeah, you turn 1,000 into 2,550, 150% gains, which is, in my opinion, I don't know why would anyone complain about that. This is assuming you start with 1,000. If you start with 10,000, you just turned 10,000 into what? 25,000. 100,000, you just turned it into 250,000. Obviously, the more money you have, the more the more you have to make. Let's be real. Again, this is assuming like you just take the 30%. Obviously, if you're able to catch a 100%er, you can make way more. The potential for a lot of money to be made in the OTC is still there, absolutely, but it requires patience, discipline, and taking advantage of the sell-offs because people are impatient, can't wait for the Q&A, whatever the case may be. So, people who don't have patience or who are so desperate to make 10,000% gains, they don't sell at 30%. You know what they do? They just keep holding it, and then it comes back down, and they're like, well, I guess I'm in the red. Let me add some more. So, and I think 150%, that's not bad, in my opinion. That's already more than most in the market who just lump sum, who have the Bogle investing three fund portfolio or whatever. You guys, some of you know maybe what I'm talking about, but that's a lot. That's a lot for a year. That's assuming this happens with Cybl, of course. Either way, the money is there to be made if you're flipping. If you're long, this needs to get out of the OTC. That goes without saying. As long as it's down here, we're not going anywhere. Other than we're pumping and we're dumping. This guy has a huge following compared to me, at least 32.3K. This guy was talking about Cybl. And as you can see, one step away from breaking 1 penny for good. Yeah, sure, buddy. Like, even people with, just because someone has a big following does not mean they're the brightest, clearly. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you learned something from this. And I can't hit stop.